Coco Gauff shocks Australian Open. I'm the #1 fan of this heated rivalry. The Australian Open was already buzzing with high-stakes tennis, but Coco Gauff added a whole new layer of excitement with a statement that instantly grabbed headlines. In a candid and confident moment, the American star surprised fans and media alike by calling herself the #1 fan of one of the tournament's most heated rivalries. Her words sent shockwaves through the tennis world, sparking intense debate and renewed attention around the growing competitive fire on the women's tour. Known for her maturity beyond her years, Gauff didn't shy away from embracing the drama that comes with elite competition. Instead, she welcomed it, making it clear that rivalries are not something to fear, but something that fuels greatness. Speaking at the Australian Open, the reigning U.S. Open champion highlighted how these intense matchups push players to elevate their game, entertain fans, and create unforgettable moments on the biggest stages. Social media quickly erupted following her remarks, with fans praising Gauff's honesty and fearless mindset. Analysts, meanwhile, pointed out that her comments reflect a new generation of players who understand the power of narrative, competition, and passion in modern tennis. As the Australian Open continues to deliver thrilling matches, one thing is certain: Coco Gauff isn't just playing tennis. She's embracing the fire, the rivalry, and the spotlight that comes with it. The night air over Melbourne Park vibrated with something more than the usual summer heat. It wasn't just the hum of the lights or the rhythmic squeak of sneakers on plexicushion. It was tension, alive, electric, and unmistakably personal. When Coco Gauff stepped onto Rod Laver Arena that evening, she wasn't just walking into another Grand Slam match. She was stepping into a rivalry that had begun to define a generation. And she loved every second of it. The match that no one predicted, except Coco. On paper, the odds leaned away from her. Her opponent, battle-hardened, tactically ruthless, and carrying a quiet confidence built from years of grinding wins, had been labeled the favorite by analysts who loved numbers more than nerves. Commentators spoke of experience, of patience, of how the Australian Open had a way of humbling youthful fire. Coco Gauff listened. She always listened. Then she smiled. From the very first game, it was clear this would not be a polite exchange of baseline rallies. This was combat. Coco's serve cracked through the stadium like a starter pistol. Her forehand, heavy, topspin-laden, fearless, pushed her opponent meters behind the baseline. But what truly stunned the crowd wasn't the power. It was the joy. After a lung-busting rally that ended with a passing shot kissed by the sideline, Coco turned toward her box, eyes wide, fists clenched, not in arrogance, but in delight. She wasn't just winning points. She was feeling them. Later, she would say, "This is why I play. These matches? These rivalries? I'm the #1 fan." A rivalry born not of hatred, but of respect. Great rivalries in tennis are often misunderstood. They're painted as feuds, vendettas, icy handshakes, and sharp words at press conferences. But Coco's rivalry, this one was different. It wasn't fueled by bitterness. It was fueled by belief. Belief that the other player would push her further than anyone else. Belief that complacency would be punished. Belief that greatness doesn't arrive quietly, it demands resistance. Every time Coco broke serve, her opponent broke back. Every time momentum swung, it snapped in the other direction just as violently. The first set went to a tiebreak that felt less like a decider and more like a thesis statement. Neither of us is going anywhere. Coco took it 7-6. She didn't celebrate wildly. Victory, without the end of the story. When match point arrived, it wasn't flashy. #1 10 mph ace. No screaming forehand winner. It was a rally. Of course it was. Backhand to forehand. Depth traded for depth. Legs burning. Time slowing. Then Coco stepped inside the baseline and redirected a shot down the line with quiet authority.
Game. Set. Match.
She dropped her racket. Hands to her face. Not in disbelief, but in gratitude. The handshake at the net was long. Words were exchanged. Respect was visible. This rivalry wasn't over. It was just getting better. I'm the #1 fan. In the press conference, reporters asked the usual questions about tactics, about fitness, about rankings. Then someone asked, "Do you feel extra motivation when you play her?" Coco leaned forward. "Oh, absolutely," she said, eyes lighting up. "I'm the #1 fan of this rivalry." The room laughed. She continued, "These are the matches that make you better, that scare you a little, that force you to grow. I don't want easy wins. I want meaningful ones." It was a statement that rippled beyond Melbourne. Because in that moment, Coco Gauff wasn't just talking about one opponent. She was talking about a mindset. More than a shock, a signal. The headlines would read, "Coco Gauff shocks Australian Open," and technically, they'd be right. Upsets make good copy. But this wasn't a shock. It was a signal. A signal that Coco Gauff had entered a new phase of her career, one where pressure had transformed into fuel, where rivalries were welcomed, not avoided, and where joy and intensity coexisted beautifully. As the tournament moved on, one thing became clear. Whoever faced Coco next wouldn't just be playing a top athlete. They'd be stepping into a story still being written. And somewhere in the stands, or maybe watching from home, her rival would be paying attention, smiling, waiting for the next chapter. Because the best rivalries don't end with a handshake. They begin with one. As the dust begins to settle on Coco Gauff's headline-making comments at the Australian Open, one thing has become crystal clear. This rivalry is no longer just about matches on a court. It's about emotion, identity, and the future of women's tennis. By proudly calling herself the #1 fan of this heated rivalry, Gauff didn't just speak her mind. She reshaped the conversation around competition at the highest level. In an era where athletes are often cautious with their words, Gauff's honesty stood out. Rather than downplaying the tension, she embraced it, recognizing that rivalries are the heartbeat of sport. They create storylines, elevate performances, and keep fans emotionally invested. For Gauff, this rivalry represents growth, an opportunity to test her limits against the very best and thrive under pressure. The reaction from fans and experts alike has been electric. Supporters applauded her confidence and authenticity, while commentators noted how such rivalries help push women's tennis into a new spotlight. Every great champion has been defined by a rival, and Gauff's willingness to acknowledge, and even celebrate, that reality signals a maturity far beyond her years. As the Australian Open marches on, all eyes will remain firmly fixed on Gauff and the battles ahead. Each encounter now carries added weight, fueled by anticipation, passion, and unfinished business. Whether she lifts the trophy or not, Coco Gauff has already delivered something unforgettable, a reminder that tennis isn't just about winning points, but about embracing the fire that makes the sport unforgettable. One rivalry, one fearless voice, and a tennis world watching closely. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share.
Till
next time.